lecture as well to perform, so I request you all to please stay back. Now, I invite Professor Prabhakar Sinha, National President, PUCL, Dr. V. Suresh, General Secretary, PUCL, Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, President, PUCL Karnataka, and Professor Rajay Rajendra, General Secretary, PUCL Karnataka, to accompany our esteemed guest to the dais. Can I please ask Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, President, PUCL Karnataka, to welcome the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಲಿಬರ್ಟೀಸ್ PUCLನ 35ನೇ JP ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಶಾಖೆ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲು ಇಂದಿನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ನೀಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರಿಗೆ ವಿವಿಧ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮತ್ತು ಜನರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ PUCನ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಪ್ರಭಾಕರ್ ಸಿನ್ಹಾ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಬಹಳ ದೂರದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆದಂತಹ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸುರೇಶ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ವೇದಿಕೆಪಡಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ರೂವಾರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಅವರು ಸಹ ನಾವು ಇದರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಮತ್ತು ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿ ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಪ್ರಭಾಕರ್ ಸಿನ್ಹಾ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಸಹೋದರಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಸುಗಮವಾಗಿ ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಹಕರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀ ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಿ ನಾನು ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. I call upon Dr. V. Suresh now to introduce our guest for the evening and also the purpose why we are all gathered this evening.
Shri Gopakrishna Gandhi, Professor Prabhakar Sinha, friends from the PUCL, friends from other human rights organizations, and Democrats and human rights concerned citizens of Bangalore. It's very pleasurable to see so many people coming on this day. Precisely this day, 38 years back, the rising upsurge of people, of ordinary people of India, especially the youth of that period, protesting, agitating against the emergency. Every 100 people who were jailed found another 1,000 people, young people coming out and fighting. And many, many, many thousands of people came out on the streets across India. On this day, in 1977, the Indira Gandhi government withdrew the emergency notification. And soon thereafter, elections were announced. This day also marked the victory of the people, and one of the outstanding leaders of that period, who was both, in a way, a cause for the emergency, as also for lifting the emergency, which was this diminutive man suffering from many ailments, but whose cry for freedom was a cry which could not be suppressed because of illness, which could not be suppressed because of oppression, of incarceration. Jayaprakash Narayan, who stood between a totalitarian leader like Indira Gandhi and democracy, And in the end, in that period, the campaign launched by Jayaprakash Narayan with the involvement of thousands of citizens resulted in the lifting of emergency. Since that day, the PUCL, which owes its genesis to Jayaprakash Narayan in 1976, originally called PUCLDR, from the 1980 onwards, started commemorating this day as by remembering Jayaprakash Narayan. And since that day, we have been having JP Memorial lectures, barring one particular lecture, which there was a certain unfortunate death at that time. So one particular lecture was missed, and today is the 35th JP Memorial lecture. We hold this lecture each year in a different state, so that not only the message of JP, but also the message that it is possible for people to stand up for democracy and can eventually win, can be taken up across the length and breadth of the country. And it is in this measure that in this last 1 year, tremendous change in the politics of this country, that we felt that somebody who symbolized the quest for democracy and who would also, by his own personal example, also stand for a certain ideal of democracy, and none could be more fitting than Mr. Gopalakrishnan Gandhi. In his own right, what he has stood for and what he has been speaking for has been matter of public record, and I don't need to necessarily introduce him to this august audience. Apart from being a member, a part of the Indian Administrative Service with the Tamil Nadu cadre, he went on to become the private secretary to Mr. K.R. Narayanan, the then president. And sir, I never had the opportunity to tell you, one day when you were in the president's office, we approached you to save a person who was on the gallows, Govindasamy from Coimbatore. And the president was in a banquet, and you were in a banquet. At that moment, we called because the next morning, 6 o'clock, he was to be hanged. We called you at about 9:30, and it took some time for us to get through to you, and when you did come, and we explained to you why we were troubling you. We said, don't worry, just call me back in half an hour's time. The half an hour became 1.5 hours, and at 11 o'clock we told us, don't worry, I managed to persuade the president to stop the hanging. Govindasamy lives today, sir. Govindasamy lives today, sir, because of what you enabled at literally the 11th hour. It was at 11 o'clock on that day. The next morning, 6 o'clock, he was to be hanged. Our next challenge was how did we get that order from distant Delhi in the days before the internet to Coimbatore, where he was to be hanged the next morning. Sir, thank you for accepting to come and speak here. Like many others, we too look forward to hearing you on the state of emergency that the nation is finding itself in. And we hope that the voice that you would raise here is a voice that will resound, because this is the voice of democracy that needs to resound in the country today. As the largest human rights body in India, and as a person who's been traveling across India the last 2 years, I can tell you how important today's lecture is. And the theme which was selected by Mr. Gopalakrishnan Gandhi, it was not a theme we suggested, it was a theme that he suggested. It's not only timely, but it is also a necessary wake-up call for all of us who believe in the end that India is made up of numerous groups, diversity is our strength, and democracy is something that we need to live and fight for, and to help democracy get stronger roots than the threats that it is receiving today. Thank you, sir, on behalf of all of us, and we would like to invite you to deliver the JP Memorial lecture on behalf of the PUCL and on behalf of the public of Bangalore and also the country, sir.